అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. నమో నమః. Today is the second day of our classes on 64 class music and dance in Vedas. This is a series of 3 classes. One we have finished yesterday, music and dance in Vedas. Today we are going for Chatusashti class, 64 class. Let us start the session with reciting Vande Mataram, paying our respects to our country by Chala Chittibabu Garu, and then we'll go for Prarthana. So let us request Chala Chittibabu Garu, please. కొద్దిగా అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి.
వందే మాతరం వందే మాతరం సుజలాం సుఫలాం మలయజ శీతలాం సస్యశ్యామలాం మాతరం వందే మాతరం శుభ్రజ్యోత్స్నా పులకితయామినీం పుల్లకుసుమితాద్రుమదళశోభినీం సుహాసినీం సుమధురభాషిణీం సుఖదాం వరదాం మాతరం వందే మాతరం వందే మాతరం.
వందే మాతరం. ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Now let us request జయశ్రీ గారు to chant Prarthana, please.
నమస్కారం అండి అందరికి. 1 minute మెడిటేషన్, తర్వాత 3 times ఓంకారం, తర్వాత ప్రార్థన. ఓం 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 గణానాం త్వా గణపతిగం హవామహే కవిం కవీనాముపమశ్రవస్తవం జ్యేష్ఠరాజం బ్రహ్మణాం బ్రహ్మణస్పత ఆనశృణ్వన్నోతిభిः सीदसादनम्. ఓం శ్రీ మహాగణాధిపతయే నమః. ఓం ప్రణో దేవీ సరస్వతీ వాజేభిర్వాజినీవతి ధీనామవిత్ర్యవతు. ఓం శ్రీ మహాసరస్వత్యై నమః. గురురేవ గతిః గురుమేవ భజే గురునైవ సహాస్మి నమో గురవే. न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरो मां पाहि गुरो. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
हरिः ओम శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Thank you so much. Now let us welcome and request our Guruji Sumitra ji to start the webinar, please.
You can unmute and start, Sumitra garu.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to share my.
Yeah.
Subhodayam to everyone. Namaskaram, everyone. So today I would like to explain to all the students about the 64 colors that we have. When I heard Madam reciting a sloka, praying her, salutations to Hayagriva. So when we talk about the Vidya and the Kala, there is a slight difference between a Vidya and a Kala that we will try to understand as and when we go through the slides. Okay. So what are the Kalas and what is the number of Kalas that were delineated by aestheticians? How many people have delineated all the 64 Kalas? And how many of the Kalas do we have still today? And what can one do to retain our own rich heritage, these 64 Kalas? All these things we need to pay attention. And I'm so glad to be associated with Veda Samskruti Samiti for giving me an opportunity to discuss about this, our heritage, our culture, and our arts, to spotlight, to focus some light on these Kalas and introduce it to the present generation who have zero knowledge about our rich heritage. So for taking up such a mammoth task, inviting so many students and, also inviting several scholars who are experts in different fields and introducing our Veda Samskrutis to the younger generation is a much more solicited one at this present juncture, for which I profoundly thank VSS once again, and also making me a part into this particular sessions. Today, I'll be dealing with the Chatusashti Kalas. So I would like to welcome this heterogeneous group. When I saw so many engineering students and other students joining into this one. So this is almost a heterogeneous group with a homogeneous taste, right? So I welcome everybody to this session. The main objective of today's session is to let the students to understand what is a kala, the antiquity of our kalas, the concept of kala, and the different types of kalas. So when I say kalas, We all know that the goddess Saraswati holding a veena, pustakam, akshamala, and so she is the authority of all the vidyas and kalas. So I would like to start my presentation with a prayer to goddess Saraswati, even though Madam has recited a sloka. Ya kundendu tusharahara dhavala, ya supravastranvita, ya veena varadanda manditakara, ya shweta padmasana, ya brahmachyuta sankara prabhutibhir devai sada vandita. सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापः. This slokam is very apt because she is the authority on all the kalas and vidyas. And she is the one make us, Nissesha Jadyapaha. Whatever the Jadyas that we have, she is the one who is going to erase all those Jadyas, right? And why I have chosen this one is to learn any art, one should have a pratibha, vyutpatti, and sadhana. These are the three main components that one is required. So what is the pratibha, what is vyutpatti, and what is sadhana? Pratibha is the inherent talent that one is having, right? By birth itself, some are born artists. So that we call it as pratibha. Vyutpatti is a student going to other people to the gurus and to different schools and learn the art form from the gurus. That is called as vyutpatti. Or observing his own classmates, or observing some of the performances, programs, discussing with the classmates or experts, scholars. So through vyutpatti, one can learn these art forms. And sadhana is one has to practice, exercise on daily basis till the time that they achieve all this expertise in an art form. So pratibha, vyutpatti, sadhana are the three main things in order to perfect themselves in any of the kalas. Let us try to understand the meaning of the term kala. The term kala has different meanings in different connotations. Generally, we all understand that kala is nothing but an art form. So what is a kala? Or natya kala, sangeeta kala. Kala is an art form. It is a skill by itself. So kala, the general definition what we give for the term kala is anything that is done with a skill, we call it as kala. The other meanings for kala includes the digit of the moon, the fraction of the time, and the rise of a sun. So these are the different meanings. So it is also said that 1/16th fraction of the time is called as kala. 1/16th time of the kala, when we look at the new moon to the full moon day, we see that Chandra grows by 1/16th fraction of time by every day. So Padyami, Vidya, Tadiya, Chaviti, Panchami. So every day you see a growth in that Chandra. That is the reason it is called as Chandra Kala, right? And goddess Lalita Devi is also praised with Kala, Kashta, Nimeshika. All this we refer to the time measurement in the Lalita Sahasranama. And we also call her with the names like Kalavati, Kalalapa, Kanta, Kadambari, Priya. So all these names are given to goddess Parvati in the Lalita Sahasranama. Okay. Kala means art. Later, these arts were enumerated by several aestheticians. And finally, they have settled into Chatusashti Kalas. In Buddhism, you will find almost all 512 Kalas. And surprisingly, in Buddhistic literature, which is on the life history of Buddha, which is called as the Lalita Vistaram, they call 64 as Kama Kalas. But the regular kalas, the other kalas were enumerated into 72. But final number of the kalas enumerated in Lalita Vistaram is 512. In Jainism, they were mentioned as Chatusashti kalas only. But Rajashekara and other aestheticians, they have enumerated 64 kalas. But the number of colors were enumerated 64 only. According to some of the aestheticians, some of the colors were replaced with different names and different colors. So maybe 50 to 54 colors were common in all the Chatusashti colors delineated by all the aestheticians. But 10 or 12 colors were replaced by something else by the other aestheticians. Hence, I would like to make a disclaimer saying that today I am going to delineate the 64 colors which were explained by Vatsyayana in his Vatsayaniyam, otherwise called as Vatsyayana Kama Sutras. Let us also try to understand the etymological meaning of kala. Kam sukham lati iti kala. That which brings joy is called as kala. Kala derived from the root kal. Kal, according to the Amarakosa, it is explained that Sankhayani Gatau Kshepe is kala. Kalyate, Sankhyayate, iti kalaha. So these are all the etymological, the Vyutpatti arthas given in different Sanskrit dictionaries. So Sankhyayana means something to be known, something to be understood. Here we can also discuss about Sankhya Yoga from the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna was informed about the righteousness, the dharma of a warrior by in Bhagavad Gita by the Bhagavan. So that particular chapter is called as Sankhya Yoga, where Bhagavan was delineating, or something was revealed by the Bhagavan. So that particular chapter is called as Sankhya. To reveal something, to know something, to communicate something, and all this connected with a proper understanding. Gatau means that which is very dynamic, ever changing, ever evolving. And there is a perennial flow of that particular art form. Such art is, art has an intelligent element, an educative element, and a communicative element. Kshepe means thrown into ecstasy. So it provides an aesthetic pleasure to the viewers, to the connoisseurs. So the fundamental concept of a Sankhya, that which reveals, Gatau means that which is ever dynamic, ever changing, and ever evolving. And Kshepe means that which provides an ecstasy to the connoisseurs. So when all these three things were fulfilled in a particular form, such form is called as Kala. In the Ekakshara Kosha dictionary of Sanskrit, Ka means, Ka symbolizes the creator Brahma. Hence, we can understand that this Kala is nothing but God's own creation. So to sum up the entire characteristics of Kala, it is the creativity of the human beings, and the dynamism talks about the propagation of the art, and finally, the enjoyment that connoisseurs receive and relish. So to create an art form, one should be genius enough, and one should have interest, mood, and an uninterrupted concentration are required. Okay. So what are the other characteristics of an art form? Art does not diminish by sharing. So we know some of the people, they hate to share the information. Okay, by sharing, it will be enriched, right? So it allows the connoisseur to forget his self and allows him to unite with the universal energy. Kala means an entertainment. Kala means a creative force. Kalayati means he's creating. In his brain, he is ever creating. When we look at some of the musicians, all the time they'll be humming some or the other raga. That means he's involved into the kala and he is ever creative. Kalas reflect culture and civilization of a country. So by looking at the kind of art forms that a country has, we can easily assess their culture and the civilization. For example, if we think of our own India some 5,000 years back, if you talk about the Indus Valley civilization, the Mohenjo-daro civilization, we find the finest bronze sculptures that were found and the finest seals that were found with a beautiful description of paintings, and artisans were found. the kind of pots and pottery that was used in those days, and we look at the Mohenjo-daro and Indus Valley civilization, the kind of architecture, this is for engineering students, those who are into the civil engineering, the kind of architecture, what they have followed in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa and the Indus Valley civilization, the kind of canals that were built in, the water storage containers, the tanks that were built in those days, the paths, the roads, the road system, the building architecture, and the free flowing of the air, the ventilation, everything is so perfectly designed 5,000 years back, and till today we couldn't add anything new to that particular architecture.
Hey,
And when
Please mute yourself, please.
So when we also talk about Natya Shastra and the theater construction, they also discussed about the ecosystem. How to confine that echo or the sound system within the theater to reach the voice till the last audience who was sitting far away from the stage. So much of information has hidden in our arts and the architecture. So a country's civilization is known through their kalas itself. So tomorrow when we discuss about the Natya Shastra, we'll be wondering how many topics were discussed by Bharata in the Natya Shastra, to the extent possible that even after 3,000 years of writing of Natya Shastra, we are not able to add anything to the Shastra, because that is such a vast thing, such a comprehensive thing. So arts are very, very comprehensive, that reflects a country's culture. So in the Vedic literature, we see that kalas, 64 kalas can be divided into 4 main categories: kala jnana, that gives us knowledge; kala shastra, that's skillful arts; kala rupa, the visual arts; and kala kriya, the ritualistic arts. So all the 64 kalas share the same goal, which is to create harmony between the divine and the humanity. These art forms and techniques are not only used to create beautiful works of art, but also to bring balance, harmony, and peace to the individual. So with these introductory words, I would like to start the 64 kalas. Okay, directly going into the subject because I need a little time. So out of the 64 kalas delineated by Vatsyayana in his Vatsyayana Kama Sutras, the first and foremost one is the Gita Vidya, the art of singing, Sangita. So in Samaveda, we find the origin of Indian music. The sofa system that we talked today, it started with the Ekaswara, then we went into Dviswara, then we went into Triswara, Chatuswara, Panchaswara, Shatswara, and finally we have settled in the Saptaswara, the present day octave of the music. And singing in Ekakshara and Dviswara and Triswara was also called as Samika, Archika, Gadika, and Samika. So these are the 3 names given. When you listen to the Samaveda singing, you will come to know about all this Udatta, Anudatta, and the Swarita Swaras. Swarita being the middle one, Udatta being the upper tone, and Anudatta being the lower tone to the Swarita. So these songs were also sung in villages and the forests. They are called as Uha and Uhya. So this Gita Vidya includes the composition, tuning, rhythm, rendition, and singing, says Yashodhara in his commentary on Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra. So in 21st century, the music is classified into Marga, Desi, Janapada, Lalita Sangita, Sini Sangita. So you name the multiple genres, everything has been included into the Gita Vidya. And like yesterday, I have discussed about the prose and the poetry. You have slokas, you have padyams, you have gadyam, you have churnika, you have dandakas. So there are so many varieties of Gita Vidya through which one can render Sangeetam and praise the Almighty, and spread the news also. Spread the, for the propagation, when we were talking about the Sankhya and Gatav and Kshepe, the propagation of Rama Bhakti has been taken through the Gita Vidya by Ramadasu, Tyagaya, Purandaradasu. So you name anybody, any Dasa Gana, they have propagated the Bhakti. Again, Bhakti movement is totally involved with the music and dance. So Gita Vidya, we can attribute to some of the Tyagaraja Kirtanas and Ramadasa Kirtanas, wherein we concentrate upon the propagation and communicating something to the public, common masses, to be honest. So the second in the list is Vadya Vidya. The art of playing musical instruments is called as Vadya Vidya. So yesterday also we have discussed about the 4 types of instruments: the string instruments, the percussion instruments, the wind instruments like flute, shehnai, all this comes under the wind instruments, and ghana, the 4th one, the metallic instruments like the cymbals, ganta, gajjalu. So all this comes under the ghana. Tatam chaiva avanathancha ghanam sushiramevacha, says Bharata in Natya Shastra, classifying all the Vadya Vidya into the 4 categories. Nritya Vidya, the art of dancing. So again, yesterday we discussed about the classification, the fundamental classification of dance into 3 categories. Natya is with a drama and a story. Nritya is purely connected with the emotions and sentiments. Nritta is an abstract dancer focusing on the laya basically. And the 4th one is Natya Vidya. Here you can see Nritya Vidya and Natya Vidya are classified into 2 different categories. Natya Vidya is theatricals, where a drama, proper drama is only performed. And the 5th one in the order is Alekhya Vidya, the art of painting. The concept of Twashta and the Vishwakarma speaks about the origin arts like painting, sculpture, architecture from the Vedic literature and some of the epics. So when some of the epics, when I say that epics in Mahabharata, we will hear about the Vishwakarma building Mayasabha, right? Mayudu has built the Mayasabha, right? So the kind of architecture, the blueprints, the drawings, everything can be drawn from the epics and the Vedas and so-called Shastras. And also when we talk about the painting, we can talk about the Ajanta, Ajanta paintings and some of the rock cave paintings, which stands as a testimony of the time even today, which were drawn some 5,000 years back. Not only in India, you can also talk about the Egypt and Greece and other places where you find the massive structures of pyramids or the cave paintings drawn with the herbal paints. They stand as a testimony even for today, right? So that's about the Alekhya Vidya. That also talks about the buildings, the beautiful sculptures, paintings, and it is the art itself is called as Tvashta. So for some of the colors, I just added some of the slides, visuals. So in this picture, you can see a dancer along with the some of the musical instruments. Mridangam stands for percussion instruments, Avanadha, and the sitara and veena, that comes under the Tantri Vadya. And you can see a harmonium there. Harmonium is for wind instrument. So like that, we have an image putting all together the Gita Vidya and Sangeeta, Natya Vidya. The 6th one is Aiseshaka Chedya Vidya, and it is also called as Visheshaka Chedya Vidya. So the art of painting the face and the body with the color is called as Visheshaka Chedya Vidya. Okay. It is also called as Patra Chedyam. That is taking from the Bhurja Patra paste, applying on the body to draw the different patterns like the present day tattoos. So when you see the present day tattoos, for us, they used to, When we were young, my mother used to have a pachabottu on her hand. So pachabottu is like a Visheshaka Chedya Vidya. And applying that Gujapatra taste, of course, pachabottu was made with, I think, porcupine's needle. They used to do that. But this Visheshaka Chedya Vidya is drawn with the Gujapatra paste. And also Visheshaka Vidya includes the different kinds of tilakas on the head, the kind of bottu. Today we are using all the plastic bottu, unfortunately, but the tilakam is made with pounded turmeric, adding in some of the rocks. We call it as Sindhuram Rai. So they add into that, and beautiful tilakams were drawn on the forehead. So for example, here you can see in the visual, some of them are wearing the horizontal lines, some of them are wearing the vertical lines, depending upon the isms that they follow, or the god or goddess that they follow. And some of them are wearing the round bottu. And for the Nagaloka Vasa, so we see in some of the movies, you must have observed, a snake is drawn on their forehead. Similarly, for all the celestial beings, in crescent shape bottu is drawn for them. So applying a different colors of tilakam is itself an art. Okay. So we find Trishulam, the Dosaginja bottu we call Bhanumati, cinema actor Bhanumati used to wear that one. And this Aisha Chaka, sorry for my throat. Early morning it troubles me a lot. So this Visheshaka Chedya Vidya, when I say art of painting the body and face, we can also apply this technique to the dancers and the drama artists, that they apply the makeup on their face. So for example, if we can look at this particular Kathakali art form, you can see the color that has been applied on his face. And that has got a meaning for that. Okay, so they call it as Katti, Pacha, Erupu. So these are the names given. Pacha is the yellow, Akpacha is the green, and red color is also applied. So red symbolizes the villain, green symbolizes the heroic, antagonist and the protagonist colors. These are all. And all the females are applied the yellow color. So each region has got their own speciality in applying these colors also. Right? The seventh one is Tandula Kusuma Bali Vikarana. Bali Vikara Vidya, sorry. The art of preparing offerings of rice and flowers, drawing different designs on the floor like present day Muggulu. We call it as Rangolu. So we also see that in the Onam festival, these colors were drawn, the beautiful Rangoli during our Sankranti festival also. We may not find in the cities, but if we go to villages, we will find that, with a beautiful Banti Pugulu and Rangoli, they decorate the streets, inviting the Sankranti Lakshmi to their home. So arranging or, decorating the front yard of the house or even in the house with the floral arrangement and the colorful Rangoli and creating mandalas. So while performing rituals, we create mandala. Mandala is a square. They have different shapes like a square, oblong, rectangle, circle, padmam shape, the lotus shape and all. So we create a mandala area wherein that particular place is dedicated for a particular energy. So we invoke that energy through this, through creating this mandala, and we invite them, asking them, requesting them to reside in that particular mandala area throughout the ritual is being performed. So that is a ritualistic mandala. But mandala generally, the Muggu is also called as a mandala. Next one is Pushpastarana Vidya, the art of making or covering a covering of flowers for a bed. So this is performed mostly in temples to make the deity sleep as a Visesha Archana. So we have this Visesha Seva in the 64 upacharas that we perform to the god. Now that we have brought it down to Shodas upacharas, but earlier they were 64 in number. So Pavalimpu Seva, we call it as Pavalimpu Seva, Unjala Seva, wherein in a swing, in a uyala, wooden uyala, or a golden uyala, silver uyala, according to the capacity of the bhaktas, they prepare this uyala with a beautiful foam and with a beautiful floral arrangements. And these flowers also like jasmine, which gives a nice fragrance, sampanga, champa. So all these flowers were so beautifully arranged, and the Utsav Murti was placed in this uyala. And with the Unjala Seva, we shall make the Lord go to sleep every night. In Annamaya movie, there is a beautiful Unjala Seva Kirtana sung by Annamacharya. అలరచంచలమైన ఆత్మనందుండని అలవాటు చేసేనే ఉయ్యాల పలుమారు ఉచ్ఛ్వాస పవనమందుండని భావము తెలిపేనే ఉయ్యాల ఉయ్యాల ఉయ్యాల. The oscillating movement of Uyala has been so beautifully brought into the oscillation of the thoughts. Alara Chanchalamayna Atmanandunda. This mind is like a chanchala, it's moving, it's swinging here and there. Kindly make it, allow it to focus on you, oh my Lord. This is like an Uyala. So, while doing the Uyala Seva, the Annamacharya has so beautifully written that particular song. So this Pushpastarana is not just decorating the swing to the Lord, but it is with utmost devotion, with utmost surrenderance, we are doing that particular Seva, right? So to give you an example of Kusuma Bali Vikarana, of course you all must be seeing it in most of the marriages also nowadays. We go for all these decorative things, right? And the 9th one in the order is Dasana Vasana Angaraga. So Dasana Vasana Angaraga is art of applying preparations for cleansing the teeth. And Dasana is cleansing the teeth. Today we go for shining of the teeth and all. We go to the doctor for teeth cleaning and everything, like to a dentist. And Vasana Angaraga is cloths, the painting the body, applying the colors to the body and the clothes to make themselves to be attractive to the others. So for this, cloth dyeing is a major art. So right from drawing the yarn and to making it colored cloth to apply the dye. And this art includes each and every single step, right from collecting the yarn, dyeing the yarn into the preferred color, then, weaving it into a vastra. Everything includes into this Dasana Vasana Angaraga. So for you to understand, today we find the so-called polyester, nylon, so all these artificial yarn that we are mostly known for, right? But in the olden days, people used to draw yarn from 5 major sources. That 5 types includes Kauseya. Kauseya is nothing but the cocoon of an it is called a sericulture. In the sericulture, this yarn is drawn from the silkworms. So we draw the silk from the silkworm, and such yarn is called as Kauseya. The vastra is called as Kauseya. And Pita Vastram is the name that we give for the Kauseya Vastra. And Rankava is the wool collected from an animal called Rankuirri, or from the sheep, mostly from the Himalayan region where you have the cold regions. The animals were blessed with a beautiful wool on them. So we collect the wool and we prepare the woolen clothes. Valkalam is a tree bark. We soak it in the water and we slit them into beautiful threads, and it is and they are called as Narachiralu. So we also know that during the Ramayana on the exile, Rama and Sita, they wore this Valkalam. Okay, and cotton, we all know that we get it from the cotton. And these are all the things, you know. And the Angaraga is applying colors to the body like lipstick, and Parani, all these things. So this is how the colors were applied. This is called as a dyeing, Dasana Vasana Angaraga, dyeing of the silk threads. Okay. Mani Bhumika Karma is the art of making the groundwork of the jewels. This means decorating the floor with different jewels like a mosaic floor to keep it cool in all the seasons, to embellish the floor also. So if we can refer to the history, Abdul Razak, who has visited the Vijayanagara Empire, while he was describing the palace of King Krishnadevaraya, the amount of jewels were used to construct a pillar or the floor and everything. That particular work is called as Mani Bhumika Karma. And Sayya Rachana, the art of covering the bed, preparing the bed like the present day. Yeah, in hotels, we also know that housekeeping with the beautiful mosquito nets, spreading the bed sheets, and arranging the aromatic ambience. And fundamentally, it is about keeping the premises clean, carpets and beds ready to use. So all this work is called as Sayya Rachana. Here is an image that talks about the mosaic flooring with the marble. Okay. And next in order is Udaka Vadya, and 13th is Udaka Gata. So both these, art of playing the music on a water-filled vessels. In a Pingani Patra, they fill the water to different levels so that on beating these vessels with a stick, they give a different kind of pitch. They give a different kind of frequency, different kinds of shruti altogether. So in an octave of Sarigama Padani, with all the upper and the lower notes, the 16 sthanas of the Saptaswaras, these Udaka Gatas are also filled in 16, each one creating each sound. So through that, they play the music. Chitra Yoga is art of particularly applying an admixture of colors and in a disguise like, monkey, tiger, we know Pulivesham, all these things, to entertain the public with the wonderment. So the body paints with the Pulivesham, they make different kinds of jumps, leaps and everything. The swift movements, they try to imitate those animals and create a kind of entertainment to the people. So these are some of the Udaka Gata. This is not filled with the water. This is another kind of Udaka Gata. So Udaka Vadya is filled with water. Here you can see an image of Pulivesham where the colors were drawn on bodies and people are imitating the tiger. The fifth one is Malya Granthana Vikalpa, the art of designing and preparation of wreaths. So we all know Malini, Draupadi was employed as a Malini in Virata Parva. And these floral arrangements are called as a Vitata, a garland kind of a thing, Malya and Grandhima, Pralambita. So the foot length garlands, putting them into a bouquet kind of a thing, both the ends are tied together, both the ends are open-ended ones. So there are different kinds of floral arrangements. Today we talk about Ikebana, but we have more than Ikebana some thousands of years back, right? So Sekara Pida Yojana, the art of practically setting the coronet on the head. So tying of the turbans, we find different kinds of turbans depending upon the region that they live in. So that is called as Sekara Yojana Pida. So we have different kinds of turbans, maybe for Krishnadevaraya, for Annamaya, for Tukaram, Shivaji, like, And the Nepadhya Yoga is art of practically dressing and in the tiring room or the green room. For dramatic presentation, the Angarachana should match the character being portrayed on the stage. This includes Alankara, Angarachana. So to understand the Alankara and Angarachana, before that, let me give you, see for Shivaji, you have a different kind of turban here. And for Pandits, normally we see this kind of a turban, right? So going back here, the Alankara and Angarachana. Alankara is nothing but the different kinds of jewels that are worn from head to the toe. The Siro Abharanalu, Karna Abharanalu, Kanta Abharanalu, Bhujakirtilu, Kati Sutralu, and Kankanalu, Pada Bhushanalu, Anguli Abharanalu, Siro Bhushanalu, Veni Bhushanalu. So the list is never ending. So we have so much of Alankara and Angarachana. We need to understand what are the primary colors and what are the secondary colors. For example, if you mix white and pink, white and red, you get pink color. Similarly, orange and green, you will get black color. Like that, a combination of two colors, combination of three colors, mixed colors, you will end up at another color. So what are the primary colors? So we have red, yellow, black and green as blue are the primary colors, and the secondary colors, the different colors, what we can mix with the primary colors like that. Karnapatra Bhanga is the decorating the tragus of the ear. So the ornaments that are made for the ear are called as Karnapatra Bhanga. So we have different kinds of ornaments, like, in the shape of a leaf, the shape of a flower, the snake, or, for a planet like Sukra, like, the Surya, Chandra, like a star, Nakshatra, Chakra Kundalalu, which are in a round shape, Meena Kundalalu. For Panduranga, you will find Meena Kundalalu with the fish, like Makara Kundalalu with the crocodile. Karna Valaya is around the ear. If you wear, it is called as Karna Valaya. In Mahabharata, in Telugu Mahabharata, in Virata Parva, not Virat Parva, sorry, during the Yuddha, Bhishma Parva, there is a beautiful poem written by Tirupati Venkata Kavalu describing the kundalas of Krishna. When Arjuna failed to aim his arrow at Bhishma, Krishna tries to jump out of his chariot to kill Bhishma. Then Bhishma sings a beautiful poem. Uppinchegasina kundalambula kanti gagana bhagam vallagappi gunaga. When Krishna was jumping out of his chariot, the kanti of his kundala has covered the entire gaganam. See, that's that much of intricate details were produced in our Sahityam. So Karna Kundalalu were given. Of course, Atidhi Kundalalu was also a beautiful anecdote in Parijata Paranam story. So Kundalalu has got their own importance in our Sahitya.
Mani,
Yes.
that poem is written by Bhagavatam Potana Matya.
Yeah.
Kuppinchegasina. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Okay, so I correct myself. So Sugandha Yukti, art of practical application of aromatics. So preparation of the scents, perfumes from the floral extracts and certain tree barks. So Chandanam and all. So that is Karpuram. So all these are drawn from the tree barks. So that is called as Sugandha Yukti. So when I talk about the Alankara, you can see the beautiful ornaments that were worn from the top to toe and also depicted in the beautiful sculptures. I think this is from Halebeedu. So the Bhushana Yojana is art of applying or setting the ornaments wherever one has to tie it properly. Okay, sorry sir. Tirupati Venkata Kavalu wrote Udyoga Vijaya. Now I remember. Sorry. So Bhushana Yojana is art of applying or the setting the ornaments. So Alankaram from the top to toe, both for men and women, like Siro Bhushnas and everything, tying them is Bhushana Yojana. So Indrajala, Aindrajala, the art of juggling, the magic show, and the various tricks that creates an illusion to the viewers is called as Indrajala. Kauchamara Vidya is a kind of art which includes mantra, tantra, yoga, worship, it's a Kauchamara tantric version of, doing, maybe I cannot term it under black magic, but something closer to that one. So which helps in fulfilling a task or helps to attain the wanted goal. Yeah, Patala Bhairavi, there is a dialogue. Sahasam Chaira Dimbaka Rakumari Labistundile. So he will give a nice idol to the hero, saying that, you know, whatever that you wish, that will come true. So Kauchamara Vidya is something like that, similar to that one. So Hastalagava is an art of sleight of hand, but unfortunately Hastalagava, the term has been used for a different purpose nowadays, misused and misunderstood the concept. So the swift movement of the hands and the skillful movements, either in designing or finishing or snatching or grabbing, plucking or fixing, anything that is done with the hands with a swift and a skillful movements, it is called as Hasta Laghava. Sorry, I'm running, keeping in mind the time. Chitra Saka Pupa Bhaksha Vikarana Kriya. So do not get worried about these things. This is all about the culinary skill, where we talk about the Bhaksha, Bhojya, Chosya, and the Lehya. The four types of the food that we eat. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we know Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamastritam Pranapana Samayuktam Pachamyannam Chaturvidam Bhaksha, Bhojya, Chosya, and Lehya. For those engineering students, to make it much more easy for you to understand, the one that we chew and eat, that we, you know, judru and eat, you know, that we bite and eat, and that we lick and eat. So to make it much more easier for you to understand, the
Payasam.
Payasam is a beautiful example. And yeah, here we should also take into consideration the Ayurvedic concepts, where one has to add some of the condiments and, you know, cereals as an antidote to each and every thing that we use. You know, whenever you prepare something with the pallis, the peanuts, a pinch of jaggery should be added so that the digestion be easy for us. So these are the, and hing sometimes, ingua, for digestion purpose, you know. So these are the nuances that the Chitra Saka Pupa Bhaksha Vikara Kriya would take interest and pay attention on. Panakarasa Ragasava Yojana is just like we were talking about the food. This is like preparing some of the drinks, the nice drinks, adding some of the condiments and, you know, the flavors like the ilachi, or, you know, some of the gulabi, the rose petals and everything, making delicious drinks, first of all, you know, starting from preparing the buttermilk, adding some of the dry ginger, the jeera, salt, the nimbu rasam, all these things, you know, like kallu, sugarcane juice, we add lemon to sugarcane juice, fruit juices, milkshakes, like, you know, madhuparka is another one that's made with the curds and the jaggery or honey. It is called as madhuparka. Okay. The next one is Suchi Vaya Karma, the art of needlework and the weaving. So this includes the crochet work, the knitting, curtain designs, and Mattavarani is the one suggested in Natya Shastra, wherein the Varani is nothing but elephant, the row of elephants when they were stitched on the side wings of an theater, that is called as Mattavarani. Sutra Krida is art of playing with the thread. It's like a puppet show. So you tie the sutras to your fingers and you try to make the play so beautifully, the puppet show. Veena Dhamaruka Vadya is again mentioned, though Vadya Vidya is mentioned as the second in the order. Veena Vadya Dhamaruka Vadya is listed as a 28th one. Prahelika is art of making and solving the riddles. This riddles includes the number puzzles. Yaksha Prasnalu is a great example from the Mahabharata. The logical and critical questions, subject-based, literature-based. And, you know, we have Antyakshari and the Mukta Padagrasta. Antyakshari is the last word, last letter used, and the poet will use the next letter, the ending letter, as the beginning letter of his Purana. Whereas Muktapadagrasta is the last letter of the sentence is used as the first letter of the another person's sentence. So that is called as Muktapadagrasta. So these are all the prahelikas where you have so much of riddles. Okay. Durvachaka yoga. So art of practicing the language, difficult to be answered by the others, or using a different word to give some same meaning, concealing the original name or the meaning. To give you an example, in Mahabharata, Aranya Parva, Vidura sends a person, messenger to Dharmaraju, saying that ఇల్లంతా అగ్నికి ఆహుతైనప్పటికీ కలుగులో ఉన్న ఎలకకేమీ కాదు కదా. That means even though the house is put on fire, nothing will happen to the mouse that is hidden in a hole. So this looks like a normal conversation. But Dharmaraju has got a hint saying that someday we are going to meet with an accident. So it is time for us to dig a hole and to enter into the forest and escape from there. So this is an image for Sutra Krida, the puppet show. The next one is Pustaka Vachana, the art of reciting the book. So is this just reading a book, or is it a recitation, or reading it with intonation, in tune, in meter, with proper pronunciation, proper punctuation, stressing on the syllable, the udatta anudatta swaras, and padyam should be sung as padyam, gadyam should be written recited as gadyam, and champu, where there is champu, the mixture of padya and gadya, it has to be recited like that. So the Pustaka Vachana itself is a art by itself. Nataka Khyayika Darshana, the art of enacting short plays and anecdotes like Krishna Leelalu, Buddha Charitra, Natyaitam, Lavakusa singing the glory, that we can give it as an example. Kavya Samasya Purana, the art of solving the enigmatic verses. Avadhana Prakriya, today we call it as. So the first two lines by one poet and another two has to be filled with an appropriate wording without distorting the meaning, or they'll be given one of the line for an avadhana and one has to fulfill it. There is a beautiful example from Tenali Ramakrishna. Kunjara Yudhambu Doma Kuttuka Jachan. Ranjana Cheri Pandavur Aribanjana Cherirata. Akata Vidine Mandumu Sanjaya Kunjara Yudhambu Doma Kuttuka Jachan. So this is a Samasya Purana. Okay, Pattika Vetra Bana Vikalpa, the art of designing, preparation of the shield, boxes and arrows, the mundane life utility carriers like baskets, bowls and cane, and with other plant-based fiber, they used to prepare vessels and something like that, baskets and something like that. So that is called as Pattika Vetra Bana Vikalpa. So Tarku Karma is art of spinning by the spindle, chiseling, polishing and preparing beautiful ornaments, sculptures and the metals. Such art is called as Tarku Karma. So here you can see the Pattika Vetra Bana. And Takshana is art of carpentry, preparation of the chariots, doors, furniture, sculptures, salabhanjikas, wooden cutlery, and for yajnas and yagas we make use of struk and sruva. So all these things. Vastu Vidya, yeah, the art of architectural engineering, the construction of any building, which includes from the soil test to purification of the ground, drawing the layout, pillar construction based on the size and shape of the building, construction material, the churna, the mud, because no cement was available in those days, the environmental position, the restrooms, kitchen, two-storied buildings, rainwater conservation, sewerage, all these things, taken into consideration for Vastu Vidya. So Rupa Ratna Pariksha is just like a gemology, testing of silver and the jewels, the 9 types of jewels that we have today, Navaratnas. Okay, the weight, the quality, the cut, the carat, the polish, the mines from where they have collected. Based on those things, they will give the value of this Ratnas. Dhatuada is art of metallurgy and also identifying the places of availability of these minerals. Maniraga Jnana is art of tinging jewels. The identifying the available areas, like, we all know that Sri Lanka is very famous for the blue sapphires and Africa is for diamonds. Like that, identifying the area of availability. Akara Jnana is art of mineralogy, the mine, like, we have Singareni calories, right? So, Vriksha Ayurveda Yoga is art of practicing medicine or herbal medicines, medical treatment by the herbs. We all know what is an Ayurveda, right? So, Mesha Kukkuta Lavaka Yuddha Vidhi. So, to make you simply understand, Kukkuta is nothing but a Kodipandal. If I say Kodipandal, everybody will understand. So, in those days, they used to have a competition or fight between the Mesha, that is the goat, Kukkuta, that is the Kodi, and Lavaka is another bird, and they used to train these animals and birds to fight along. And Palnati Yuddham is a best example where the war was between two cocks, but not between the people, to save the lives of the soldiers. Nagamma, Brahmanaidu is a famous story for Kukkuta Yuddha. So Sukha Sarika Pralapa is teaching the birds. Sukha and Sarika birds and the parrots, teaching them how to talk and, saying hail to the king and saying all the best words so that they would say all the Subham, right? So these are all the images of Kukkuta and Mesha Yuddha. Ustadana art is a healing or cleaning a person with the Utsadana. Sorry, Utsadana is art of healing or cleaning the person with perfumes. Kesha Marjana Kausala, art of massaging and combing the hair. No need to go to Bangkok and other places. So we have this art form here in India. It's an age-old one. Akshara Mushtika Kadhana is art of talking with fingers. In Buddhism, you find beautiful. Today we see that, for differently abled people, for different, even our Doordarshan Kendra previously used talking with the finger movements, right? Dharana Matrika, the art of use of emulates. So, Ekasandagrahi, Dvisandagrahi, Trisandagrahi, memorizing the narration instantly is called as Ekasandagrahi, which is useful in writing the poetry, recording something. So, Ekasandagrahi people were used so that they will repeat afterwards, and slowly it was written on Talapatras, and thereafter the stencils were prepared and it came into the public. So Desha Bhasha Yojana is art of knowing the provincial dialects. Nirmita Jnana or Nimitta Jnana, art of knowing or prediction by heavenly voice, good and bad omens. We have some of the superstitions, like, if you come across a black cat, that day is not a good one. So early morning after rising up, if you see something awkward, then it's not a good omen. So through the Akasa Bhashana or, some of the signs that we see every day, so is it a good omen or a bad omen? So the people are there to predict and say something to the people, those who can afford them. Right? Yantra Matrika is the art of mechanics. We all know that on rotating the Matsya Yantra, Arjuna aimed at a rotating fish and he aimed the fish in order to marry the Draupadi. So that is the Jnana Yantra Matrika we have in those days without having any power like electricity or any other mechanical power. The Yantra Matrika skill was there during the Mahabharata, by Mahabharata time itself. Mlechita Kutarka Vikalpa, the art of fabricating barbarous and foreign sophistry. Mlecha is nothing but the foreign people. So we have, by the time of Vatsayana itself, I think Alexander and other people have come and we have adopted some of the techniques from them. So he has adopted it as a Mlecha one. Samvachya, the art of conversation. So we all know that even in our Vedas, we have the art of Vachya. We have Vada, Samvada, Jalpa, Vitanda, so many types of arguments to reconcile for a particular reason, to establish the truth, we have so many types of samvachyas. So Manasi Vakya Kriya, the art of composing verses mentally. So this we call it as Manodharma. So within the mind, he would be instantly creating the Kavya. Kriya Vikalpa is the art of designing a literary work with an understanding of aesthetics, grammar, syntax, and everything. This is called as Kriya Vikalpa. Chalitaka Yoga, the art of disguise. So we all know that kings used to employ so many people who would go in the midnight, like we call them as Gudacharis. So they would go in disguise and try to get the information from different sources and give the information back to the king. And one such best example from Ramayana, we can see that a soldier informs Rama that a few people from one of the section of the society were talking against Rama, bringing back Sita, despite she being at Ravana's Lanka, right? So these are the Gudacharis. They try to gather information from different sources and bring it back to the so-called people who are in charge of the smooth running of the administration. So Abhidhana Kosha Chandogyana, the art of the use of lexicography and the meters is called as Abhidhana Kosha Chandogyana. Vastra Gopana, the art of concealment of clothes. So art of concealment of clothes, yes, we can say that this is also like a magic where they vanishes the clothes like anything. That's one of the art. It's like a magic. So Dyuta Visesha, art of knowing the specific gambling. Dyuta Krida, we call it as. Like, we have seen in the Mahabharata also the Pachikalu game. So we have several other Puli Meka or something else. There are so many Dyuta Visesha art forms which are like present day puzzles and riddles where it's like a Medho Madana that will create sharpness for our minds. Okay, so that is called as Dyuta Visesha. Or, there is a lot of logic that one has to apply, lot of thinking to play safe, right? So Akshara Krida is the art of playing with the dice or magnet. Akarsha Krida, sorry. Akarsha Krida is the art of playing with the dice or magnet. Balaka Kridanaka, art of creating games for children which help them for an overall development. Like, the different kinds of plays which will keep them physically fit. And some of these games are so creative that mentally they will sharpen their brain. To some of them are to be played with logic, with lots of thinking and all. So all these things to create or sharpen the brain of children, some of the games were created. So they were called as Balaka Kridanaka. Vainayaki Vidya is the art of enforcing discipline, not only for the people, but for also to the elephant, horses, and camels. So that particular thing is called as Vainayaki Vidya. So keeping, taking under the control like the oxen for cultivation and everything. So they used to control the oxen and elephants, horses, donkeys to some extent. So this is called as Vainayaki Vidya. And some of the other kalas which include Gajasastra, Aswasastra, the taming of Ashwas, the horses, taming of the elephants. Even today in Kerala and other huge temples, we see elephants were rode up, standing in a row and participating in the rituals. Like they were all tamed. So such particular art is called as Vainayaki Vidya. So enforcing the discipline to the students is also called as Vainayaki Vidya. Vaijayiki Vidya is the art of gaining victory. So if you can learn some of the games like chess and other games, there are some tricks or steps through which you can easily get the success. Or even for Sudoku, if you can decode the trick it's very easy to solve the puzzles, number puzzles, or the crossword puzzles, or even the cube that we play. There is a trick. There is a particular pattern that if you can decode that pattern, it's easy for us to win the game. So that knowing that tricks and steps for success is called as Vaijayiki Vidya. And to give you another example, Vaijayiki Vidya, some of the techniques that were used in the wars, I think I can give an example of Padma Vyuha, Chakra Vyuha, all these Vyuhas through which the soldiers used to enter into, and they killed Abhimanyu with the Padma Vyuha, as all of us know about it. So the last and in the order is Vaitaliki Vidya, the art of awakening the master. So these are called as these people who are good at awakening the kings, or their masters, are called as Vaitalikas. So they are some of them are called as Bhatrajulu also, who praise the Lord. So Bhatrajulu and Vaitalikulu. Vaitalikulu are the one who wakes up the king and the so-called rich people in the society, and they will be praising their king, saying Bahuparak, Uma Maheshwara Purna Labdha Jivana Gajanana Bahuparak, Bahuparak. So with that, even in Maya Bazaar film, we find Vaitalikas going around the Uttarakumara and praising. I forgot that dialogue. And even in Mutyala Muggu, he employs some of the Bhajantrilu. Whoever comes and praises Rao Gopala, they used to play this. So in order to say that, I know you are trying to please me, better you stop it. So in a negative connotation, these Vaitalikas were incorporated into this Mutyala Muggu, just to make it as a lighter vein to conclude my lecture on 64 colors. Yeah, in Maya Bazaar, Rakshayiti, 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 Pahimam, like that, Allu Ramlinga and some other, I think Padmanabhan, were praising Relangi as an Uttarakumara. So these Vaitaliki people, they keep on praising Mahisha Suradanavendra Bahupara, like that, for each and every king and the demon king, maybe to the Lord also we say hail, like, and for us, Melukolpu is also there. Suprabhatam. Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narasardula Kartavyam Daivamahnikam. This is also a Vaitaliki Vidya only. We are doing the Melukolpu to the Lord, isn't it? So such art where we sing, or we praise the Lord or Almighty or the King, the Master, such art is called as Vaitaliki Vidya. So these are all the 64 kalas. I'm so happy that I could make it. I was running. I wanted to make sure that I complete within the 1 hour slot that was given to me. So, but there is a lot more explanation that is to be given to the younger generation, because most of the things, Balaka Kridaka, I see most of the elders here. The kind of art games that we played, of course, I'm also 58 now. So when I was young, I played so many games which helped me to focus and, to sharpen my brain. But hardly I see people coming out and, playing in an open ground, confining themselves to the mobiles and, TV shows and all, which is not an solicited one, of course, but we have no other goal except going with the wind. That's it. So these are all the Chatusashti Kalas, and I thank Veda Samskruti Samiti for giving me this opportunity to present something on 64 Kalas. And given a chance, we would enumerate and elaborate on these Kalas sometime later. Yes, and thank you one and all for listening to me so patiently. Thanks.
ధన్యవాదాలు సుమిత్ర గారు.
Yes, sir.
Now we go for the question and answer session. First is Kapa Rameswara garu.
అమ్మా నమస్కారం అమ్మా.
Sir, namaste.
ఈ 11th ఇది చతుషష్టి కళ పేరు చెప్పండి అమ్మా 11th one.
You can
Udaka
see,
Vadyam, sir.
Ah?
Udaka Vadyam.
Udakavadya, after Mani Bhumika Karma and between Udakavadya there is one more, ma'am.
11th miss madam.
Udaka Gata.
Udaka Gata.
Dakagata 13th one, na?
anyway,
And regarding one, ma'am, this Pustaka Vachana, this pravachanams given by Garikapati and Kotiswara, they will come under this category, ma'am?
But they are not reading the book, but yeah, Pravachanam comes under that only. So Yakshagana Prasanga also comes under the same thing where you give the Prasangam.
Okay. And
So
this about the 64th Kala, just now, yesterday I went to Brahmaramba temple in Srisailam. There in the evening they conduct this Bahuparak.
Sir.
Reciting Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, Sangeetam and all these things. So she, every day, every Friday, it is done in Brahmaramba temple in Srisailam. And I was told that this will be done this is being done in Tirupati also.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
This Bahuparak.
right.
Yes, sir. So
Thank you.
that's the one I told you, Uma Maheswara Purna Labdha Jivana Bahuparak.
Okay, ma. Dhanyavad, ma.
Yes.
Uh,
So
please,
11th one, according to it is Sayya Rachana, sir. In my list, the 11th one is Sayya Rachana.
Right. Yeah. I request to all the students, please don't ask questions which are already there in the presentation. You can see the video recording, it is already there. So let us have timely and questions by others which are not covered in the class. So we have one question in the chat box. Calligraphy is not having the place in the 64 kalas list, but generally people used to term it as a kala. Now, how to treat this one, please? Calligraphy.
So that is the reason I made a disclaimer in the beginning, ma. These 64 kalas were enumerated by Vatsayana in his Vatsayaniyam. So there are several other couple of other aestheticians who have enumerated Gajasastra, Asvasastra, Pakasastra. So these are all the other sastras that were included into the 64 kalas. Like you said, maybe calligraphy was introduced by somebody else also, as you must have seen somewhere else. So, but the 64 kalas, what I have enumerated is according to the Vatsayana in the Vatsayana.
Maybe one among the 512 colors.
Maybe. So there are 72 kalas enumerated in Buddhism and Jainism, and Rajasekara has enumerated several other. Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's one more question. You have exhibited most of the 64 arts. What term is available when so many kalas are at one place? Is there in one term to say that all these kalas are in one place or somebody?
Natyam.
Okay. Is the one single term, yeah.
Natyam, Natyam means, see, the definition given by Sarangadeva and Sangeeta Ratnakara is Geeta Vadyatraya Sangeeta Nritya Sangeeta Muchyate. So Sangeetam is nothing but inclusive of Geetam, Nrityam and Vadyam. So Sangeetakaras claim that Sangeetam is a comprehensive art form. So Natya, we include music, dance, dramaturgy, literature and drama. So all these 5 arts together is called as Natyam. Like that. So not all together. So if you, Chatusashti Kala is the only single word where you enumerate all the 64 kalas.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And one more question
If
is,
we can bring in some of the arts which are similar to each other, like the fine arts, what we were discussed that fall under Natya, like where we discussed about the culinary skill and the preparing some of the juices. Probably those two we can term it as a different one. Sayya Rachana and preparing the bed and other things, aromatic things and all. If we can classify them under different sections, probably that particular one section can be named as a under
Yeah.
one category, we can give a name to that probably.
Okay. Okay. Then one more question is dance Samhara Kala? What is the Samhara Kala?
Sorry, they must have read it wrong, sir. It is not a Samhara Kala. It is a Samahara Kala.
Sorry. I pronounced it wrongly. Samahara Kala. Sorry.
Yeah, Samahara means a combination of so many things. That is what I was saying. So for a dance, you need literature. I need a song to perform. For that song, I need music. For that, music means the singing part of it, the Sangeetam. For that Sangeetam, I need orchestration and I need makeup for that. I need an architecture stage for that. I need acoustics, the sound and the other things, right? So for illumination, I need lighting and everything. And for amplifying, I need mic system and everything. So like this, it is an comprehensive Samahara Kala. So dance alone, if I do this one, this is a mime.
Right.
This is an action. I don't call it as a dance. But same thing if I say, ra, ra, I included lyrics there and I included song there, singing there. So that becomes a dance where lyrics are there, literature is there, and music is also there. And if I add instrumental music, that becomes a Samahara Kala.
And the other question is, who is called Sakalakala Sakalakala Vallabha?
Vallaban.
Sakalakala Vallabha, yeah. Ante, see, Sakalakala Vallabha, it is said that depending upon the need in the olden days, the prince was sent to the Gurukula to learn all these art forms. So for a prince, some of the Sayya Rachana and all, he doesn't require this Sayya Rachana because he already has so many servants who does all these things, right? But for him to know the nuances like, the Yuddha Kala, the Bheri Kala, taming the animals and, the gajas and everything because they might retard in the war field. So he needs to know all those things. And, the tricky things, the Vijayiki Kala, where through the tricks and all, where he can win over somebody else. And having an understanding about the fine arts and everything. So depending upon the necessity, these princes were sent to Gurukulas in order to become a Sakalakala. And it is also said that Krishna and Balarama learnt all these 64 kalas from the Guru Sandeepa Maharshi in 64 days. And even in Ramayana, Rama was well versed with the 64 kalas. Buddha Charitra says Buddha was familiar with all these 64 kalas. So Sakala Kala means one may not master all the 64 kalas, but to an extent where there is a necessity for their living, they would learn all those art forms. So such person is called as Sakala Kala, Vallabharaya.
Okay, Pantul Ravindra Garu.
Namaskaram, Guru Garu. It is not a question. It is only my observation.
Sir.
Covering of 64 kalas in 60 minutes is a Samayapalana Kala.
Sir.
It's very great, madam. Today also good lecture for us.
Thank you,
Madam.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Sudhir Bhattarji, you have given a very good elaborate message. Can you talk, please? Because I can't read out.
No. I kind of listed the 64 kalas by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Purana 10th Skanda 45 chapter.
Yes,
I just
sir.
listed them. That's all. Nothing, no comment.
I know.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm just going through it.
Yeah.
And thank you. I mean, I enjoyed both the lectures. Yesterday's lecture, I cried actually, to be honest.
Yes, sir.
Your voice touches my heart actually. So it is direct communication. I don't listen. It just goes to the heart. So you have that power.
Actually, due to jet lag, every day it's bothering me, and I've been drinking hot water, but still there's some kitch in my throat.
So, anyway, thank you. I think Rameswara Garu.
This is 30th one, Durvachaka Yoga. Just now in Mahabharatam, there are about 800 Vyasa Ghattams, wherein Vyasa presents a picture without understanding its proper meaning. Ganesha thinks and writes again. There are so many Vyasaghatams in Mahabharatam. I think that also comes under this Durvachaka Yoga.
Yes, sir. We can give as many as examples, sir. There are plenty of examples. Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Amma.
Thank
Thank
you, Siddhar Patarji, for Rameswara Garu for adding the information. And I think now we are on dot, and the question and answer session is also over.
Over.
Babu
Over.
Garu. Yeah. Just a minute. Last question. Oh, yeah. It's again very informative. That was a message from one of the students, Taramurthy Garu. Right, Babu Garu. Over to you.
Okay. Dhanyavad Mahoday. Thank you so much for covering this Chatushashti Kalas. Thank you so much. Now we will go for closure. Let us request Jayashree Garu to
Yes, sir.
recite
Yes.
Pradhana.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि सन्तु स्वस्ति. Thank you, sir.
ధన్యవాదములండి. Let's go for national anthem. Chalo Chittibabu Garu.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद जय हिंद.
ధన్యవాదములండి చలా చిట్టిబాబు గారు.
Thank you.
Now
Govindarajuలు గారు, very
Yeah.
crisp